Hello. I am so professional eating right when we go live.
Hey, you know, there was, actually there is, I should say, well, it might be it was, I don't know if he's still around. I assume he's still around because he was young when I found him, but a comedian named Dylan Morin, who he would have a little charcuterie board next to him with cheese and wine and grapes.
Ooh, nice.
Just during his comedy sets. And he'd be sitting over there and he'd be talking to you with a mouthful. Like, so
It's smart.
So, hey, you know, if it's good enough for the Brits, then I guess it's okay for it. Again, we're not eating anything approximating a buffalo chip. This is jerky. So you know.
Homemade. That you made.
Yes, I did. I made this batch yesterday, actually.
Jerky pretty easy to make?
If you have the right meat, it is.
Okay.
You have to have the right fat content to protein content. So you'll hear people say you want to go with something that is less in fat than protein, because if you have way too much fat, not only will the jerky kind of disintegrate, but it will smoke up whatever room you're in. So this is made with 93 to 7% lean, 7% fat, because inside the dehydrating process, all that fat just...
Chief, I'll round up our
Nice, dude.
Call back
Nice.
to dawn.
Huh? Oh, okay.
Master will do the same with the elites.
But, oh man. Welcome everybody to Hot Button Co-op. It has been an interesting week. Big win for freedom this week. With
I'm just smiling, just gaily.
with the Supreme Court's decision to not mandate private businesses to have to enforce a vaccine policy, which is great.
Unfortunately, that's not the same for federal,
Yes.
sadly.
Yeah, and private businesses, they are still allowed to
Yeah, of course.
mandate it themselves, but they're not required by law from OSHA to have to do so, which is that. But in other
Well, Nick even pointed out that like the power that they were going to give OSHA was like that of pretty much how abortions, like the women who get abortions too, because that's one other thing too. Because with that, you could actually get a list of people who aren't vaccinated, but not with people who got abortions, which is weird.
yeah, that is very strange. And disclaimer for YouTube jockeys out there: we're not giving you any medical advice here. We're reporting on the top headline news sources that are actually on your platforms here. So nothing that we say right here is to be taken as an advice for what you should do with your body. I just want to make that very clear.
Oh yeah, we're not.
We ain't experts.
We ain't experts, and heaven forbid we insult the regime.
The gods of YouTube and social media at the conglomerate. But yeah, so that was pretty interesting. And we'll jump back to that more in earnest here. But what I don't know if you saw this, regarding the vaccine and the lies. I'm not going to call it misinformation, but the lies surrounding it. There was. Did you see this guy over in Germany?
Is that the one guy who was like dancing?
No.
He made a song or something.
Oh, I don't know if I saw that. This guy in Germany, his name is Hans Peter.
Very, very German sounding.
Maybe in Spanish we can call him Manus Pedro. What I did there.
Oh, I did. Hans.
But anyway, old Hansi, he trained.
Old Hansi, I like that.
He trained his sheep. Apparently, the guy is a sheep herder.
Oh,
It's modern day.
okay.
He trained his sheep to align themselves in a formation when viewed from the air to be that of the shape of a syringe.
Yeah, because, you know, when I look into because I just have the opportunity and the availability to look at things from a bird's perspective.
Absolutely.
anytime I want,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know.
for sure. You know, I jump on Google Earth at least a good hour and
3
a half
times
every
a day.
Yeah. Funny how many nude beaches and places in Venice are actually blurred out. You can't find them.
And this is in Germany, or
Germany.
you would think they would possibly have learned from, you know, a certain
Holocaust?
yeah,
Yeah.
a certain time long ago.
Yeah, let's
To not fall down the same marching paths, if you will.
same path of moral decline and degeneracy. But with Germany, That's a long...
Oh, you're dead.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Never perished on the battlefield. Let my legend live on. Sing tales of me.
Oh, there's a bunch of people.
But Germany, that was a storied and fabled history of degeneracy, largely brought to a culmination, a cauldron boiling over, if you will, in World War II, where you had Hitler delving into deeply, deeply arcane,
Well, that was
arcane mysteries, going as far as to try, oh my goodness, and invoke their own demonic summonings. They were doing demonic rituals. And so you have...
Isn't there a specific book he was using too? Like that he followed? Because he followed, Nishi
well, yeah, he...
a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, right?
He
or
did,
was it technically
was-
the sisters?
It was the sister,
reading?
yeah, the sister's rendering of what Nietzsche had said. That's really what did form Hitler's, or a large part of Hitler's desire to bring forth the Übermensch, the Superman, the
Old Superman
and
rearing its ugly head.
yes, and his understanding of nephrology and Rephaim studies and the Aryan bloodlines in general is what led him to then try and create this pure blood race, blue-eyed, blonde-haired, or green-eyed, red-haired people. But that whole thing, that was a culmination, that was a boiling over, and you're absolutely right. It's like you'd think that people in Germany would recognize, hey, let's not glom on to this misunderstood and highly politicized issue of this vaccine being potentially good or not good in a way that makes it seem like we're all just falling in line, like good little Gestapo born citizens should
Did you
be.
say that was sheep?
Sheep?
That's
It's so ironic.
yeah. That's
so
like
ironic.
that's a very good definition of irony.
Yeah, and from what it looked like, he created this trough of sorts, this feeding fence, and I think there had straw that was sticking all through it. So obviously the sheep are gonna go over there and be like, "Oh yeah, food." You know, it's not that he
Food.
It's not that he trained the sheep to just line up in formation as if they give a rat's ass about the vaccination. It's just, hey, stuck a bunch of food where these sheep want to gather, and so now they're forming this shape around this syringe-shaped fence full of food that you have put out there for.
Maybe that's what they should have done. Just made it into food instead of saying it was a vaccine or a pill. Like hide it in food.
You know,
No.
I could
You put a delicious pizza in front of me and
Oh, dude,
I'll
yeah.
probably eat it.
yeah, hide the mRNA inside a good slice of Chicago deep dish. Man, at least you'll get all the fat people to take it. And you know, in Chicago, they're not really concerned with the looting and the rioting. People will just take the pizzas. So
True, and then it would just kind of like how the plagues were.
yeah, you don't even have to
were
ask them to
given.
come into your store.
Yeah,
or
don't even
run
have to like give them a
advertisements.
blanket.
Yeah, exactly.
Dawn Wanderer says that's the next step. No, we need to copyright that idea. I don't want anyone taking it.
Intellectual property. Anything said here in
It's
jest
ours.
or in earnest, it's ours. Yes.
It's ours.
It's timestamped because this be YouTube.
This be YouTube. This be the YouTubes.
But yeah, that was
What that came out a while ago, right?
it has been out
Because
guess, for a
I
little
saw it
bit.
before.
It's
Surprised we didn't talk about it last time because I thought
yeah, I finally
happened around that
I
time.
finally saw like an actual
Oh, I
thorough
gotcha.
dive into it this week. Crowder
props.
actually had a pretty good
Props to you.
little bit. Yeah. It's like that guy from Family Guy where he's sitting there clicking on that light bulb and it says the miracle of electricity and he goes, I know it's crazy, but when I saw this at the World's Fair, I nearly crap my pants. It's new to me. But yeah, that was one of the more humorous stories that I've heard as of recent time, which is a breath of fresh air, at least.
So was he the one that took the picture? Yeah, was he the one that took the picture? Because I'm legit wondering if like who discovered this?
I don't know. I have to wonder.
Like he had to have told someone because I guarantee you no one gave like two shits
Yeah.
what formation his sheep was in the shape of.
Oh wow, he's a second Messiah, born of der Reich. 2000 Iges Deutsches Ihres Reich. I guess is what his moniker is going to be tattooed into his retinas once we have the Nephilim Rephaim shift and he becomes his actual Übermensch. but I would imagine that he either has a drone or he knew somebody who has a drone who
Probably.
was like, hey, you should come over to my place tomorrow. I'm going to be aligning my sheep in this formation, and maybe you could take some pictures. We post it to the internet. Maybe if we become viral overnight.
Viral.
Not quite as viral as Zerona, but just viral in a sense that maybe we affect 2 million people
2
and
million.
not 250 million worldwide. We could be able to do this.
Yeah, I'm a Swedish plumber. Mac.
Where'd you go?
Oh, we gotta go.
Frank.
Speaking of the Nephilim and that stuff, how was your interview?
It was good. I clearly have a lot to learn about streaming, and when you hit the go live button, not having to go elsewhere to then make sure that I'm in fact live.
Ouch.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
That was not planned well.
All the explosions.
Well, granted, you were using StreamYards, and I mean, it looked pretty basic since we went over it real quick, but other than that, like...
Yeah, what I assumed was that I was going to have to activate it there and then go to YouTube and then hit that. I didn't realize that when I hit go live, it automatically...
No,
synced.
yeah, it should do it. I mean, I do it here on my end just to make sure, I guess, but... Speaking of which, we're going to have to get you, and I looked this up and they do exist, we're going to have to get you a USB to Ethernet adapter because your ass needs... Your ass needs to be plugged in because I guarantee you a lot of your problems will go away.
Yep, I was thinking about
That and the
exactly.
combination of getting your own router and modem and stop using the IP's modems,
I am
regardless if it's 2 pieces or not. You just need better stuff.
I am in my infancy, Greg. I'm working towards it, dude. But your point is well received.
I think Ethernet wise, that'd be
Yeah.
your best route. At least eliminate a lot of stuff.
I'm so glad that you actually searched and found out that they exist, because I know that I'm going to need a USB hub for sure, and then the Ethernet cable to be able to support that.
There might be something to where you could probably get like
Vice versa, I mean.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll make it somewhere where it's like what you said, it's a hub, but it's like maybe a USB into a couple other USBs and an Ethernet thing, like all together, instead of just having like separate stuff.
That way
I'm
you
sure
don't
it's
have
out
to
there
have a
somewhere.
50-foot USB cable.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that there was like, and I was pretty confident that it was like there's got to be a USB to Ethernet because this is hot garbage. if you're gonna keep disconnecting. Yeah. But you said you had good talks.
It was a very good talk. It was honestly, it was a breath of fresh air. I spoke with a gentleman. He is a researcher, scholar, and an author. He specializes in getting into the pseudepigraphical books, the actual biblical texts, the Hebrew texts, the Greek texts, and then the apocryphal texts that relate to our origins as a species, as humankind, and then what the Bible has to say about all that. And our talk last night, which we've really only scratched the surface on it because we had to clear up a few things regarding terminology that the Bible uses or doesn't use, or that scholars do or don't use.
So I had stuff planned, so I am curious to know what the what a common ground became of that. I know what you guys are talking about. So what was the ultimate
More or less
factor that you guys came to common ground with?
So it comes down to his discrepancy was that the verse of scripture in Numbers 13:33 can't be accepted because it was put forth by untrustworthy spies. I claim the exact opposite of that. I say yes, it can be trusted, given that these are books that Moses penned, save for the last couple chapters of Deuteronomy. Which,
What were the spies?
The 10 spies who spied out the land of Canaan. And
Okay.
he said that we have first a bad report, or sorry, a good report and then a bad report. He was saying that they've contradicted themselves, which in fact they hadn't, because even God so much, like they said, oh, the land flows with milk and honey, which God says, hey, I'm sending you, when he was talking to the Israelites in the Exodus, he says, I am sending you to a land flowing with milk and honey.
Milk and honey.
And he said that inside their second part of their report, they say, this land devours its inhabitants. We saw there the Anakim, who come from the Nephilim. We saw there the descendants of Anak, who are a people mighty and tall. We were like grasshoppers in our own sight, so we know that we were in their sight as well. And to that end, I said, look, because he was like, you have milk and honey said a number of
What's up, Dan?
times in Scripture, but now you have these guys making this real big issue about it. And I said, well, because he had glossed over or overlooked the Leviticus 18 chapter where God himself says,
Yeah, that's...
the land itself has become defiled. And he says defiled twice. He says that's what the land has vomited out its inhabitants. Then...
Dan says Bible study in a Halo match. Genius.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
You see that cross icon in the background somewhere or on the side there?
Yeah, we don't hold... I mean, this is literally just what people do in general. I mean, not... I mean, we're of the faith, so that's kind of... That's topics we talk about. But we're... this whole idea is to... Just to recapture what people do when they just get together in the co-op game. This is a conversation, at least for us, that we bring.
Weekend recap.
Yeah.
A little just getting caught up with each other. Shooting the breeze, as it were.
Shooting the breeze.
But,
I have no ammo for anything. But
yeah,
continue.
I'm out of ammo on most things. But anyway, so he was hung up on that. And I said as much as, I said, look, you have God pointing out that the land is defiled here. So the Israelites that are giving this bad report, they're not the first to have said it. God himself said it twice. I said, and you have them saying, oh, we saw these people here, the descendants of the Anakim. And he says, they're saying the land is flowing with milk and honey, then they're saying this. And I go, well, if we jump ahead from number 13 to Deuteronomy 9, it said, we have God himself saying, hey, I am sending you into this land to dispossess these nations greater and mightier than you, the Anakim, the sons of the Anakim. And
I mean, that's what God did throughout the entire, the making of the nation. Like, he even said it. I was reading in my thing. It was, the covenant, his promise with Jacob and Abraham and stuff is look, I will give you all this land, but you got to go get it, and you have to not worship any other idols but me. And if you don't, if you keep breaking that, I will keep bringing stuff.
Yep.
I will eventually, I'll break the commandment, not the commandment, but I will break my promises with you and give it to your next generations because you're not listening.
Yep.
Dan Hornswell says -1 equals Jesus sacrificing himself divided by equal a table dividing food for the 12 equals apostles of the Last Supper of Jesus Christ's life on earth before reviving and ascending. This theory is about the binary code, all whole numbers. Take as you wish. Hallelujah.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. Love it. But anyway, so that was one that I pointed him straight on. And when he goes, well, that was when I pointed out that God said, the land was defiled. He goes, well, that was after. And I go, no, that was Leviticus 18. That was well before Numbers and Deuteronomy. And so he's like, oh, I missed that. I said, yeah. So I was able to.
That's good.
I gained the ground on both those points there. And then his issue, he says, well, he says we only have those two verses. He says we have that one verse in Deuteronomy 13:33 that he says I don't think it can be trusted.
Hurts, doesn't it?
But if you take it, he said, then that's the only thing that you have essentially to go off of with regards to Nephilim after the flood. And I said, well, Genesis 6:4 is only one verse too, and he's like, yeah, I can see it in his eyes. He goes, yeah, you're right. That's all we have in Genesis 6, and then we just have the description who their parents were and what they were known for. I said yes, and so he says, but we only have that one verse, and I said, Jesus wept is found only in one book of the Bible. It's not found in the other three Gospels.
That doesn't mean it never happened.
Yeah, I said, but it doesn't. I see. We see nobody making a discrepancy about, oh, well, it's not found in the other books, so clearly it didn't happen. And I feel like I definitely won that point there as well.
Everything is music of the Lord.
And then I went into the actual, are the Anakim, because he was saying that, he was talking about not being able to definitively say that the Anakim were Rephaim, and by extension Nephilim. And so I pointed out, I go, well, the verse here, verse 33 of chapter 13 says they were the Nephilim. They come from the Nephilim. So I said, I'm taking that verse at face value. I said, but on top of that, if we look up what is said about the Emim and the Zamzummim tribes, we see that the Bible says the Emim and the Zamzummim, like the Anakim, are Rephaim. Then I said, he goes, well, we don't have a description of the height. And I said, challenge accepted. We go to the Amorites inside in Amos, I believe it's 2 verse 8. We have a description of the Amorites, and it describes them as being tall as cedar trees, as strong as oaks. And it's God speaking. He says, "I destroyed them above ground and their roots below ground." And I said, we have right there a description of height. And so Ken kind of tried to downplay that, and it ended up being an issue where it was like, hey, if we try and dismiss what I've said here, it started to shift to a different point. I said you can't disregard this, because then we're moving the goalposts, and it ceases becoming about the point that we were making before.
Well, that was like, because I can only watch your stream for a little bit, because I was doing some streaming over on Twitch. But yeah, the part I got before I had to hop on over to my thing was, there seemed to have been a focus really on that specific word, almost to the point of it just says giants ad nauseum, and it really doesn't describe anything. And it's like, well, I mean, just because it doesn't describe it can be either way. It's a double-edged sword. Just because it doesn't describe it can mean, then they weren't actually giants, or they were, sort of thing. And that's where you got to go
and so many people, their reason for saying, their gigantes is incorrect, or their using of gigantes here to represent giant is incorrect, because gigantes means earthborn, which I've seen a number of places that say it does mean earthborn, and I've seen a number of places that say it doesn't mean earthborn. I've seen a number of places that correlate it directly to giants or people of great stature and might. The other thing, though, is that the word gigantes is supposed to be derived from the word gegenes, which actually does mean earthborn. And the first time that we see it pop up is in Greek literature for the Argonautica. That's Jason and the Argonauts. And so I went and I'm like, okay, well, if earthborn is what these guys are being called, then what does it say about the earthborn inside here? And you find out that these guys were big enough to throw boulders, so you've got to be a big SOB to do that. On top of that, it also gives a description of how big they are by talking about after they kill these earthborn giants, they are laid up on the beach, and they're laid up just like the timbers that they had hewn for the boat that they were going to make. And they said that they were the size is equated to them being super large, because it states that they were laying with their heads on the sand but their feet way deep into the water. Now you can take that at face value. Those are some big old boys.
Also, Kronos ate 12 children, Hercules did 12 tasks. There are 6 quarks and 6 leptons and 5 Geiger particles. 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 equals 17.
Dude.
That, isn't that, like, Jesus, like, God's favorite number is 7. Like, you'll find, like, that sort of stuff.
The heptadic structure.
Yeah, the heptadic structure. Well, my belief of the matter of it as well is that when it comes to where the pyramids came from, and even Stonehenge and stuff like that, like, I think, like, that's Nephilim creations too. And in order for that to remotely happen is I think a combination of, one, you have to have tall creatures of some kind to kind of do that, and 2, like, the technology as well is probably still advanced to what we think we have today. Sort of thing. And that's going down more of kind of what Gary Waynes talks about, which I need to start that book, but I'm slowly going through all my books.
It's a daunting book for sure. Take it in like 3 chapter chunks, because to try and read more.
The math of God is equated to the engine we run on 4 horses.
Ooh, interesting.
Well, I mean,
you might be one then that subscribes to the idea that we are inside a digital simulation, as DNA is a 1 in 4 error correcting digital code.
It's given number in the race. Well, I mean, technically speaking, even going off of scripture, I mean, we are in a digital thing because we have a spirit that leaves, and even it says they'll be awakened, spirits will be awakened as well when, the second coming happens. All the spirits rise.
So here's the interesting thing, to, I guess, finish up on the Earthborn thing. I looked at the Earthborn, and by all the description and stuff that I found, Earthborn meant that they were not only born on the Earth, but it also was a designator for a race of people that were not just gigantic enough to throw boulders, but they were 6-armed. So I'm like, okay, but the Bible doesn't say anything about these guys being 6-armed. It says
Now,
that they
where
were-
did you find this?
That's in the-
Is this kind of like other
That's in the
culturals? and
That's
stuff?
in the Argonautica, where
Oh, okay.
where Gegenes, the Earthborn, actually comes from.
Hmm.
So I'm looking at it, and I'm like, well, sure, you could say, okay, in place of giant, it was supposed to say Earthborn. Okay, fine, go ahead and say that. However, if we
Describing it to children, that is the way to happiness.
But anyway, I like my point is,
Yeah, sorry.
okay, so say it was you see giants in the Bible, and it's supposed to be rendered Earthborn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if we go to the description of Earthborn that has been given to us inside the Argonautica, then we understand them to be gigantic individuals. We understand them to be what we would classify as giants. And so I pointed that out and I said, is that possible that that is the case? And he goes, yeah, it is possible. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, we have made some headway here. More or less what it, and then I was able to tie the Anakim directly to the Nephilim. The Anakim are called Rephaim, so on and so forth. But the link there, it took me a while to finally find the link. I was digging and digging and digging for hours to finally find it, which I did. Conversation was a great one.
Uh-oh.
We're
What is
losing our connection here. Oh,
now it might been my capture card or an HDMI cable. There's an old capture card. I'll need to.
but it was a very good conversation, and then we finally were able to get back into numbers and start
That's good.
really going through it.
Mm-hmm.
But we still really only scratched the surface, and thankfully it saves us a lot of red tape next time, because when you look at what all has to be addressed before getting into the Rephaim and Nephilim tribes, we dealt with that all yesterday. And once you understand what these tribes were,
Yeah, no problem.
then it makes the entirety of the Old Testament
Uh-oh.
make so much more sense. Uh-oh. We lost our...
No. Maybe.
Oh, no.
Hold on a quick. Dick. Live. Are we still live, guys? We are hardwired in. I don't see why.
Thankfully, it's just a cutscene. Oh, no.
We're just gonna go through.
No device found. Echo.
It says we're on you.
It's all right. We're having a live fix. Don't worry. I'll sally forth. Do what you gotta do. I will get him.
Well, I mean,
You
I'm
can wiggle
starting
some
it.
chords.
I'm starting. No, I'm just starting it.
But yeah, after my stream froze up on me, I found out that you just refreshed the page on StreamYard, and it didn't end my broadcast.
Hey, it's. Gotta. I think so. Let me. Well, I activate. I deactivate.
Oh, gotcha. Well, anyway, everybody, now would be a great time to tell you to go ahead and smash that like button, smash that subscribe button for more one moment please content like this.
I mean,
Yeah. Well, wait, not here.
that's what I'm saying. It's like the stream might have just straight up died. So save your breath.
It's all right. Something just must have come loose.
I unplugged the Ethernet and I plugged it back. Or it literally could just be Spectrum being assholes.
Hey, there we go.
There we go. All right, I think we're good.
All right.
All right, sorry about that, folks. That was bullshit. I'm just gonna leave it here. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, because we can kick that up all the way.
ASTO and 3 cheers.
There must have been hiccup. All right, we're back.
But long story short,
This year I've been copper. Wait, what?
Copper.
Copper.
When you bench copper,
I will become zinc. Dan Horson Wells. I like that name.
Dan Horson. Well, nice.
Yeah.
Out here selling rosebud frozen peas and jugs of wine sensibly priced at $1 each.
We need to buy some time.
But anyway, the whole
Now for a
conversation
little
ended
magic.
up-
I'll make it disappear.
Deploy high charity.
the whole conversation ended up going really, really well.
Good.
And that understanding who those Nephilim tribes and the Rephaim tribes were and what that means for humanity in terms of bloodlines, it makes the violence of the Old Testament so much more palatable because you realize that, oh, they're not just fighting human beings. They're not just fighting tribes that are completely in the what's the word?
Just
Not in
enemies.
the no. Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
not just fighting random people. They're fighting monsters. They're fighting literal monsters. And in some cases, they're fighting gargantuan monsters. They're fighting races of enormous angel-human hybrid. That was where we landed. That's where we finally finished out after about a 2-hour talk. And so,
Nice.
going into breaking down the tribes and their genealogies next time around, it'll be a whole lot easier to jump into that since we've already established what we needed to for the talk. It was good.
That's good. Sounded like you guys had a really good conversation with that. And
Oh, I just killed myself.
I think that was something to where I think what's his name?
Ken.
Ken. I think that's something that maybe Ken was getting a little too focused on was well, if it doesn't describe it like detailed wise, then it didn't happen. And that's kind of where God wants you to do your due diligence and go deeper, where sometimes you might have to learn about the culture and what they're talking about to kind of get a description, even though it may not say it, sort of thing.
Well, and he kind of disparaged me a little bit, saying, I caution you when you get into this, because he said, you've given me the stats on how tall they were based on the cedar trees. Now you're going to have to end up going and giving me the stats on how strong they were based on their description of being
You don't
strong
have to give
themselves.
any. You don't have to give any stats. Like that's kind of where the research needs to.
Well, and
with yourself.
And that's
or
why
with
I
that
always
person.
have the Berean challenge thrown down inside the info section. But on top of that, I didn't get a chance to say it last night, but it's why you see in Proverbs 22, it says, by God himself.
Oh, yeah, we got it.
It's the glory of kings to search a thing out. It's the glory of God to conceal a thing, and the glory of kings to search a thing. So it's like, we're supposed to be doing the digging. It's incumbent on us, if we are to be real practicing Christians, to do that digging like the Berean.
I agree.
But it was good, and thankfully it didn't totally destroy the conversation. Unfortunately, that's what happened. Ken and Gary Wayne were first talking. I'll be honest, when I first saw that talk, I wasn't really taken with Ken. I thought, he seems a little bit cavalier, way too standoffish for my liking. But I think he enjoyed, and he said that he was really having a blast grappling with me. I think probably my whimsy and my quickness of wit were of endless entertainment.
Well, and I think there's something to be related to when it's people of, I'm going to assume, around similar age, as opposed to people with a different age discrepancy
Sure.
as well, just because Gary's been doing this a long time, so maybe his way of presenting stuff now has become more
Dated?
well, he's talked about it a lot, so a lot of the repetition is probably going to be the same thing and maybe a way of presenting it.
Sure,
something
maybe
like
he's
that.
like taking shortcuts instead of going through all the
Yeah,
levels
which
he needs to. He just-
sort of thing. But
I could see that.
I think, I'm just throwing out a guess here, like to each their own of how they present their data. But
I like to do like Johnny Cash and walk the line and think back through my entire life before we do every single episode.
Just keep going.
Hot
I'll
button coop.
update your HUD as quickly as I can.
Edition. I always do. that little hole. But jumping on to more of what happened this week, I don't know if you saw this. President Biden's approval ratings have now dropped to 33%.
Of course.
Man, brutal, and he just finished out the first year in office. I don't know if you saw this. Kamala Harris was being interviewed a few days ago, and they asked her, "Hey, more or less, what's the word for who's going to be on the ticket come 2024?" And
It's the word, bird.
she couldn't give an answer. She couldn't even give a cogent answer. It was, well, we're focused on what's going on right now.
Oh
so-
yeah, I heard
can't
that.
really
I'm
say-
just like, what the hell are you talking about?
this
It's a
is-
simple question.
Yeah, this is not a hard question at all.
Well, this is something that I'm starting to it's really starting to get annoying. Is this refusal to just go and talk about something else?
Yeah.
And that's not just say that the left does it too, but the right, I'm sure at times do it just as well. But it's this idea because they have made everything so polarized and so extreme that they know that if they focus on answering one question, then it could open up like some bad eggs, so they just don't want to answer.
Yeah, and that's the problem when you're arguing with somebody.
Don cackle. Oh gosh.
Oh, dude, that it was a debate. He laughs like somebody who's suffering from a nail driven through their parietal lobe.
So annoying. I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah, she.
That's the laughter of not wanting to answer the question.
Oh, yeah,
so
that's-
hopefully,
that's deflection.
Yeah, that's a deflective laugh.
Yeah.
I just wish someone would just be like, "Shut up and answer the damn question."
Yeah, be like, hey, Kamala, you're a good-looking gal. You should smile more. Just don't cackle like a doofus who can't answer a simple question. But I digress. Anyway, it looks. It just
You're
looks
good looking.
bad.
Looking.
You're a good-looking young boy there, Kamala.
Yeah,
Girl,
you look
Kamala?
like a
Boyish girl.
you look like a strapping lad. Answer that question.
Yeah. All right, knee pads stitched into all your dresses that you had before you actually became.
Oh, you're dead.
Yeah, it's like Beast SCOTUS.
Woo! Get me out of here.
I'm sorry.
Vice.
Vapotus? Yeah. Yeah, Vapotus, that's what I'm But that was humorous on its face and deeply
Dear Lord. Okay, there we
enlightening
go.
on I guess
Like-
when you get to the heart of it, because it's like when you have somebody who's been making an argument and you finally put the table on them and you point out something that maybe they overlooked or didn't give enough credence to beforehand, but now it makes all the difference. And instead of them being able to take that new information and go, you know what, I didn't take that into account, now I'm gonna have to go back and learn a bit more about what you've just presented me to then see how my argument now plays, they'll just double down on what they've been saying all along, even in the face of new evidence, which essentially that's where I see so many people inside the DNC are stuck now, because it's like, we've been saying this thing for so long.
You've been pushing a lie, and
Now we're just doubling down on that lie because it's all we have to cling to.
which is weird because it's like the sham is up. Like people clearly see it now, unless people who are just willingly ignorant. Which,
Oh, I'm backwards, darn it.
yeah, I keep.
Yeah, so that was hilarious. And it, yeah, it's also still a year later. It's still so funny that she was the most unliked person of the political race for president and vice president, but yet she still ended up being.
Even when she said
VP.
like, well, even, and it's weird too because she like bashed Biden, and then it was like, I want Biden, like, yeah, and then it was like, well, I want.
No.
I'll be happy to work with Biden. It's like, oh my gosh.
That was-
Although probably just there, just so that highest ranking woman, made it to
Checking all the boxes.
close to the highest ranking position in the United States, I guess you could say, or some bullshit.
Who knows? Maybe she'll come out as trans and set more records. But that was, as I already said, that was humorous. Then we have, I don't know if you saw
There's
this. Yeah, I'll see. They, the filibuster was in question, possibly going to be struck down, But Joe Manson and Kristen Sinema actually voted to keep it in. You know, they made their voice heard on that. And Kirsten, Michael Knowles was talking about this.
Yep.
And she didn't say that she doesn't support the Democratic power grab or packing the courts, which she doesn't come out and say that. But she more or less says the filibuster has to stay because that power grab at the cost of what's going to be for them a very necessary tool 2024, and this year being an election year for the midterms, we have I believe number so far is 24 DNC people retiring. I think it's either 12 or 13 from the GOP that are retiring as well. It's like, you guys really have made a messy bed to lie in, and so you're going to need the filibuster now because power is going to shift dramatically.
See, I am of the.
So am I.
I am of the idea that just burn everything down. That's my idea. Okay, I was wondering. I didn't hear about the filibuster. Was that just? Did that just happen? Because I didn't really catch on it.
And on the topic of monumentous things to be done within our political sphere, we did have the Daily Wire has won their case as they sued the Biden administration to negate OSHA's leveling of this edict on private businesses.
So was that from the Daily Wire? Because I've heard of the talks of the guy making the case to it. Was that actually Daily Wire, or was that someone else?
They started it. The Daily Wire is the one who got the ball rolling.
I knew they got the ball rolling. Okay, so they got the ball rolling.
So it had gone to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, where they had a win. And then the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals reversed that win. So it ended up going all the way up to the Supreme Court. We took the case. We had a 6-3 win to strike down mandating that private businesses have to do a vax mandate for their employees. It takes the power away from OSHA, essentially the state of being able to say, hey, every business has to do that. However, the businesses that are privately owned businesses, they still have a right on their own to demand of their employees.
It's what it should have been. It's just common logic. If it's your private business, you decide how you want.
Yeah, and it sucks though. And I agree. That yes, you as a business owner, it's like, hey, if you want to work with us, then this is what I ask of you. It just sucks when you think of this vaccine being an mRNA vaccine, literally changing your genetic code and not just affecting your life when you're at work, but now it is something that's going to affect your life outside of it. Because having to have the vaccine in order to work, it's like, okay, cool. I had to go get this in order to work now. But I can't just turn off the effects of the vaccine when I go home to my family.
You want to know what's funny? Is that Ricada actually pulled up like the most, I think, pretty close the most recent like deaths and stuff from COVID and like people who got cases of COVID. It was like only a quarter of the entire data was work related. Was like people dying like because of being in like work. And that's what they push the most. That's their whole argument, is that we're trying to be safe for the people at work. And the data clearly shows that that's not even like the top cases of why people are getting cases. It's literally you're old.
Yeah, and you hit that nail right on the head, because what's really strange is it's like, okay, if we know according to the numbers that the most negatively affected people by this virus happen to be people that are majority above 80 years in age. We know that those are the ones who are most weak to this virus. Those are the ones who aren't even going to be working really anyway inside the workplace.
I mean, that's what I thought from the very beginning, was like, I said it before, I was like, why don't you just maybe encourage the elderly to get vaccinated? Let the young people fight it out via natural immunity. If you get sick, be smart, stay home, do what you need to do. If you need to go to the hospital, then go to the hospital.
Yeah, it's like,
what do I know?
Use your common sense, because you have people that they're getting vaccinated for an illness that they're not showing any symptoms of.
Yeah, that's the craziest part. It's like, well,
For,
it's like I'm not interrupting my life to like constantly check to see if I have something, have it. You know?
Yeah,
because then that just becomes,
because
it becomes pointless. Because they literally tell you like you could literally get the Rona right after you take a COVID test, so it makes it completely pointless.
yeah, and not only that, but you think about
They charge.
Think about things like polio. Polio isn't a virus. We have a vaccine for it, but it's not a virus. People have
Airborne
They have
or
a-
flu virus, right? That polio's not that, right?
no. Polio's not that.
Yeah, because that's the whole thing is that any sort of flu virus, there's really no cure for it because it keeps. That's how
gonna
flus
mutate.
work. Yeah, it's gonna change and mutate and do whatever it can to live.
Yeah, you'll have a different strain. That's why they say you never
Yeah,
catch
no.
the same flu twice, because your body, once you've had it, essentially you have the antibodies against that strain. You've beaten it. So,
I wonder if there's a list of how many different flu viruses there are out there.
goodness,
You know,
that'd be interesting to see.
that'd be crazy. It's like, yeah, you got flu number 1 million, you know, whatever. If it really is mutates all the time.
Well, and this was something that I found to be really just dumb and telling
Something else going on.
as to
The young college liberals don't pay any attention. I think even that comment's giving them too much credit. That's thinking that they're learning something
Yeah.
in college.
when lesbian dance theory becomes what people are really trying to make a name on. It's just, all right, cool, yeah. Let me see the studio that wants to have you run the show, because the gals you're gonna be getting, it's gonna be like equating sex in prison. The gals you're gonna be getting, you don't want, and the gals you want, you ain't gonna be getting. But by all means, go ahead and it's a free country. Go ahead and try and make a life out of whatever you want to, save for that being pedophilic in nature or murderous in nature. Everything else, hey, had it. But this was funny. Oh, you killed. I did
Sorry.
jump in the way of the fire.
I was trigger happy on that burning.
Just so elated with our conversation. But this,
Well, this is how we should handle the Rona. Just a giant flamethrower,
yeah,
right?
nothing survives fire. Fire pures all.
Yeah. Why God uses it all the time.
Purifies
That's why.
all.
Well, that's why he's going to use it in the aftermath.
Great and terrible day of the Lord.
That's why he did water first, and now he's going to use fire second.
Forever purifying.
That constant purifier.
Oh, Lou, you stepped in it. But so Biden, this is really interesting, and this gives you a glimpse into just how in the pocket big tech is of the government. It's like how we were talking about news networks that no longer can report on the truth because they've been on the take so long from ne'er-do-well politicians that they're stuck having to now report the rhetoric even though they know it's false. Well, Biden, he says, hey, to the social media companies, deal with the misinformation or the disinformation on your platforms.
Wait, did he actually say disinformation?
Yes. Says deal with it. This is a plea he's making to the social media platforms, as if to say, hey, now you guys have to be publishers, which is what that whole issue with net neutrality was all about. It's like, okay, are you going to be publishers, or are you guys going to be essentially the town square? Because if you claim to be publishers, then we're going to hold you responsible for everything said on your platform. But if you claim to just be a platform for free speech, then okay, fine. We can let it go that way, but then you're not able to police the people and say what is and isn't allowed beyond leveling
Oh
up
my
and
gosh.
calling for violence.
Hold it along, dude. Dog eat dog, man. It's what this whole thing. It's hilarious.
They've shown their hand.
It's a dog eat dog. Everything.
Yep. They have shown their hand throughout, just very, very short, recent time, and anybody who looks at the preponderance of evidence that we have of lies that have been told to us, bald-faced lies that we have found 100 times over, contradicting evidence that destroys those lies, anybody who's still believing them right now and who hasn't been sufficiently red-pilled is retarded and is an unobservant, stupid fool. And when their number gets punched and they end up having to suffer for their own mental ineptitude, they only have themselves to blame because they did not listen to wisdom. They did not listen to the truth. They let that lie that was told over and over and over and over and over and over and over take root to the point that they finally believed it. Now, whether they succumbed because they were being bludgeoned about the head constantly by it, or they're just too simple to have actually decided to do any research of their own and look into these studies that people are citing, look into the numbers that people are citing, and look into the organizations that they're citing, then too bad for them. They had all this time and have had all this time, being that we were all under lockdown for a full frickin' year, even though it was supposed to be 15 days to slow the spread. If you can take it upon yourself to at least learn how to hang a shelf or how to mount a television in that time, sorry, you blew a whole year's worth of self-sharpening that you could have done. And now you better catch up because the rest of us in class, we're moving on.
Why I injected it directly into my scrotum.
Exactly. That's, and
What better way to get that immunity than
yeah,
right in the
it's
right in the
closest to
nuts.
that big artery that's right inside your leg there.
And I'm dead.
If that
Good luck.
artery's cut, you can bleed out in 27 seconds. I think. But that was inside a movie, so who knows if that's true or not.
I mean, the left use movies to explain about gun controls and how the gun environments work. So,
Speaking of gun environments, and I'm not talking about Sandy Hook here or elementary schools.
okay.
But I am talking about school in general that we have in Loudoun County, where we have the Loudoun County rapist, the boy dressing like a girl who raped this poor
Oh, is there an update on
the
that?
person has been sentenced. They have been
Nice.
sentenced, and the judge was adamant that their name now has to be on the sexual predators registry for the rest of their life.
Nice. Very good. Very good.
Very, very, very
Nice segue, by the way.
Cheers. But very, very happy for that because this is instead of watching the parents and indeed the father of the young girl who was raped be vilified by people over and over and over and over, now we get to see some justice actually play out. And there was some reports already saying that his daughter was actually the third person that this kid either raped or sexually assaulted. Yeah, so this kid is a monster. And
Yeah. Pure scum.
were I the judge there, I would demand chemical castration in conjunction with having to be put on that registry. But I guess there's a reason why I'm not a judge.
Well, I was thinking about this before. Like, one of the I can't remember who brought it up, but at some point it was like, what do we need to do? I think it was on You Are Here. It was like, what do we need to do to kind of like fight back, or like, what are some more steps that we could take to push back against all this chaos? My thought immediately went to what you also agree with too. It's just, dude, public execution, man.
Dude, bring back the
We should bring
guillotine
it
in the
back.
square.
Yeah, bring it back, and then just make an example of like, hey, go ahead and do what you want to do, but be prepared that your body might be next on the old chopping block and will be publicly displayed.
Yeah, like people say, oh, I saw some moron in New York talking about how they're not going to be punishing a bunch of crimes.
You dead again?
I am dead again. Yeah, they're not going to be punishing a lot of crimes that should be resulting in incarcerations and should be resulting in definite penalties. They're not going to be punishing them the way that they should be, if at all. And he was saying that punishing these crimes with time in jail and any other number of punishments does nothing to help deter the crime. To which I say, well, first, that's bullcrap. You're an idiot. And I'm not saying you're an idiot because you're black. I'm saying you're an idiot because you're an idiot. And you think about this. If you have a deterrent...
Bigot.
Bigot,
Bigot,
racist,
racist.
xenophobic, sexist, cis, white, male, homophobe.
Did you get them all?
I think I got them all. I got
Xenophobe.
transphobe. There we go, transphobe.
Xenophobe.
I said transphobe.
Transphobe.
But anyway, like for a deterrent like the gallows or the guillotine, something like that, where now you're forced to face the sin and see exactly what the wages of that sin are. If it's a mortal sin that has been committed, i.e. raping somebody or murdering somebody, then you look at that honestly and tell me that isn't a deterrent, and I'll tell you that you're retarded again. Because if you do have that back in the square, like certain executions are televised. You look at stuff like that. I want to say Timothy McVeigh's execution was televised. If I'm not mistaken, a lethal injection.
Well, Nick brought up a good point too, to where, and I think they should as well, is I think any trial, you should just have a 24/7 feed of people on trial that you can access you can go ahead and access.
Or
like,
how about just have a 24/7
execution
feed of the electric chair, or the gas chamber, or the injection table, or the gallows, or the firing squad. Yeah,
can we bring that back?
If you have it essentially inside the public square again, where people can choose to go and observe that because it's part of the justice system, you tell me that won't deter some people. I guarantee you.
All I can say is just think about it. The back in the day, the Jewish community didn't have any prisons, and what was the reason why?
Because they were expected to handle the issue today.
Yep.
And the person who brought the case, they were the one who had to throw the first stone. So that's it was.
Yep. If you were wrong, you got to live with that. Knowing you killed an innocent person your entire life.
Yep. And oftentimes you'd have to be dealt with too.
Oh yeah.
But
you done goofed.
You messed up there, son. Should have finished your matzo ball soup before you decided to go level in such hard accusations against your neighbor who dwelleth in the tent beside ye, so unknowingly. But that was another win, I'd say.
Another giant W.
Yep. And then we have this is really stupid. Iran is threatening to assassinate Donald Trump, and Mike Pompeo.
I did not hear about this.
Oh yeah, they did a whole video about it too. It's like production quality was impressive.
So Taliban?
Iran. I don't know if it's Taliban, but Iran.
Iran themselves.
I ran myself into a pit. They will burn for you today.
Wait, so they're just like blah 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 blah. We want to execute Trump.
They want to assassinate Trump and Mike Pompeo.
Okay.
Blown dark. All sorts of gray matter just melting over there. They're not going to do any such thing. And the fact that they had to, I guess, announce their scheme via video, I think only
via video.
Yeah, I think that only serves to show their
insanity,
nationwide impotence, and insanity.
Oh, that small penis.
But that's largely it for the big.
Well, I got something that was a hoot and a holler. So have you seen the clip involving old G4 TV with the new host?
I don't know that
Oh man, so this has been happened. So G4 TV got a new host, female host, Froskurin, or they call her Frost, and I guess her real name's Indiana Blake. I don't know. But ex-former League of Legends caster, from what I found online.
Ooh, a caster.
But pretty much took the time to pretty much just yell at a bunch of people about sexism in video gaming. Quotes involve was calling out comments by saying they're dehumanizing, weird, and that women do not exist to be nice on the eyes for you. Because I guess the previous host, first and foremost, advertisement has three themes, and I learned this way back in the day: money, sex, and power. You are always going to find one of these three elements inside of an advertisement, inside of giving out information or whatever. Like, someone's going to build around it. So I never watched G4 TV. I think a bunch of fat slobs sitting around telling me on how good this game is hilarious. I don't need anyone to tell me how good a game is. Someone can be like, this game looks interesting, you might want to check it out, and I'll go check it out, and if it doesn't fit my whim, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna
Oh.
to do it. So why you would listen to G4 makes me giggle in the end. But no, she pretty much took her time to address all the haters. Oh, are you dead?
Yeah, I was launched off the platform
Right away. But she pretty much ultimately in the end took the time to pretty much bash anybody in the chat, make fun of people, make fun of gamers, because they can't objectify her. And of course she's the victim in all of this.
Oh yeah.
Ultimately she's the victim because anytime there's sexism in video games, it's the person who's screaming out that there's sexism and there's the victim of the thing. But and she's just and it's so cringeworthy because the other hosts are like clapping like woo, like you can definitely tell how there's very little people inside of the studio because the clapping, like there's not some gigantic auditorium of people cheering and clapping. It's just a couple fat slobs sitting around and some guy via webcam or via webcam. But let's see. I picked up some quotes. One of them was something about you don't understand. Like, this is how forgettable this person was for me. One, I don't know any of these people. Two, I immediately stopped caring when you start telling about the supposed sexism in video games, which I don't doubt there might be certain little cases, but not as big as probably what they're portraying. In fact, whenever I hear something like that, and this is just with Hollywood in general, again, it's the remaking of stuff in the 90s and the 80s and whatnot, but it's not just remaking, it's retconning.
Yes,
it's
remaking
retcon
with that woke angle.
Yeah, and the quartering actually brought up a good point of how about instead of taking an already established character and gender swapping it, ruining it pretty much. I'm trying to think of other examples, but I don't really care to the super extent. I'm glad there's other people that do, but my patience is very limited with that. But it's like, why not just create a whole new character that addresses the issues if it's such a problem for you? But in any case, this is the same thing this is that vibe I got to where it's just like, it was just funny because she's like, I grew up watching G4 as a child and all this stuff, and I'm just like, doubt. Like, X to doubt on that hardcore. This is one of her quotes. Every time G4 is brought up in various channels, even in the YouTube channel, without a doubt, there will be a backlash because I am not as bangable as the previous host. So, and let me be perfectly clear. Her teeth reminded me of the description of Hermione Granger in Harry Potter. And it looks like her face constantly gets used to to put out grease fires. Just your stereotypical beta gamer chick. And it's just hilarious that, and trying to chalk it up to like, well, you guys are just going to be mad because you hate change, and it's because I'm not, like what she's saying is that it's not bangable, and you can't put your finger on why you just don't like it. I mean, I put my finger on it pretty well. You're just a beta cuck, and no one wants to be yelled at.
Yeah, you're a bad human being, and
you're a human being. You're a human being, like, who, in the name of sexism, like, when you're saying I'm yelling at you because this is for bringing up the sexism that's taking in place in the gaming society, it's probably because at some point you felt you got shafted in life or like rejected or whatever, and you're just using that as an excuse to say that you're trying to combat the whatever, when in actuality you're the one that's probably being sexist, which immediately, like, a lot of people started bashing. Like, let's see, since YouTube hid dislikes.
Oh yeah, that's so stupid.
Yeah, dude.
All
so
for the feelings.
What was it? I'm sure there's more to it. Like, the thumbs up had like maybe 2K, but then there's plugins that can show what the dislike still there, and it's like, awesome. So 2K like thumbs up, 9K thumbs down. I think the last one I saw. And then of course I saw something where she was being sexist towards someone else, like standing behind and like pretending wanting to pinch this guy's butt or something, like a gift easily.
Oh my god.
And I just want to point out the fact that this is the kind of garbage that people are tired of.
Internet doesn't forget.
Well,
They will find it. If you
I would say
decry it, then they will find it.
I would say, you know, the hypocrisy is what a lot of people get upset about. But then I just immediately think of Norm Macdonald, where it was like when they found out that Bill Cosby was guilty, and it was like, you know what I couldn't stand about the whole Bill Cosby thing? And it's like, what? It's like hypocrisy. And he's like, yeah, I guess that's true. I thought it would be about the raping, you know, and that's part of me thinks of that too. But hypocrisy does play a point in this. But it's not even that. It's the fact that, again, it's this idea of, well, you're not gonna like it because you're sexist, because you're this, because you're that. It's like
if somebody doesn't like something, that they have to check one of those
they
boxes.
they have
they
to
can't
check.
just not like something.
Yeah, you can't just like not like something, or like this idea of, you know, it's because I'm not bangable and stuff. And it's like, dude, first of all, sex sells. It doesn't matter in the end what you believe in and stuff. It sells. That's one of the 3 themes you'll see in advertisement. It ain't going away. You know, it's not going away. 2, part of it is being likable. And if you think that yelling immediately when you're starting your new position, that you're going to yell at the chat for being like, it's pretty much, it's this weird thing liberals do where they're like, well, you know what? I know they're going to get mad at me and stuff, so I'm going to call them sexist, and then I'll laugh at them because they're going to fall right into my trap. It's like, dude, you're not clever at this. Like, you're not clever about it at all. Like, people are just annoyed because this is not what they come to watch, is to hear you rail about the injustices of what you perceive as unfairness inside of the gaming community or whatever.
Also, on top of that, like, it's insulting right on the outset, because you're coming in already hot, assuming that people are going to treat you thusly. You're not even giving people a chance to prove otherwise. And when you have to try and make every single issue about, oh, if you don't like this, then you are clearly racist, or you're clearly sexist, or you're bigoted, then you are disallowing people the ability to just not like something because it doesn't appeal to them, or they don't like something because they don't like the acting, or they don't like something because the story didn't grab them. Like, I can't stand games where the controls are miserable. Even if the story is great, I'm gonna hate the game because I can't play it. You're disallowing people the right to be able to not like something just because they don't like it.
It doesn't appeal to them in any way, shape, and form.
Yeah, and to do what she did, it makes a claim that she has unbridled access to the inner machinations of their brain, and she clearly knows what they're thinking.
I tried to watch that little segment again, and I couldn't even get through like half of it again, because the first time it was just straight over the head, and I immediately just said, well, you're a bitch. Like, sorry to be blunt about it. I mean, I said something a little bit more harsh, but
well, and way to make yourself completely unbangable by becoming an unlikable person. Yeah, if you had any merit that maybe made some of these guys in the corner go, yeah, you throw a bag over that head and I would. That went out the window when you decided to start insulting people.
Yeah, but again, it's this idea of, I have to do this because it's for the sake of the injustice that's happening. Like, that to me says, well, then you never really cared about said industry that you're saying you're caring about it, because the industry should be first, and the problems in it should be fixed as we go along. Well, wait a minute, hold on.
It's like, don't break your arm patting yourself on the back.
Yeah. No, I guess the example, like, I'm trying to think of is, I'm a gamer. It's like, it's one of these things where it's like, okay, I'm a gamer and I'm also gay, or something like that, you know? To me, that's how it should be. To ultimately, in the end, we all connect together, like, say, for example, via gaming. It shouldn't be, I'm gay and I'm also, like, a gamer, sort of thing, you know?
If your entire persona and your entire reason for existence is contingent on whatever your sexuality is, then you have lost the plot.
Yeah, or what, you know, insert whatever.
Yeah.
That's the whole point, because the connection should be about what you're doing.
Yeah, it should be about the love that we both share for this
Yeah,
medium,
exactly.
which
That's
is
what I was
gaming.
trying to say. I just did a very poor job trying to connect the pieces together, just because my mind just races. It's a combination of my mind racing and mine going, this is just so stupid. I just, you know, want to laugh from the sidelines, point out on how stupid it is, and then move on, because And I think that's part of how we can combat it as well. Just point out on how
Shame them.
shame them and
Shame
how
them.
hilariously incorrect they are, and then move on, because that's what drives them crazy, is that they want, like, well, you need to justify yourself, and it's like, nah, I already did. You didn't convince me on. Oh no. It's like you didn't convince me on what you were trying to do. In fact, you failed miserably because you started yelling at me because, you know, I'm not in boot camp or anything like that, to where it's like you're trying to deconstruct my morality and then rebuild it up into whatever
Your image.
yeah, your image of how you want to make me into a machine or whatever.
You hear that, G4 girl? Be ashamed of yourself. You deserve it. You've earned it.
But that's just it, to me. It was funny because she was.
What the heck?
I think I remember this happening the last time we played. I think we can glitch. Like, I remember glitching through the floor.
Oh boy, came out of nowhere. Okay, so you.
But it's just so, like, again, ultimately in the end, it was just so funny. This is how they have to be, stay reliable. Also, one of the other hosts, G4 host, hates Republicans, of course.
Well, of course, yeah.
Let me see.
Mandatory.
Recently, you know, he has certain tweets. Let me see here. Republicans are stupid, racist, and drink piss. You know.
Oh boy.
You know, that sort
Sounds
of.
like he knows from experience. I wonder what flipped him to be a blue pillar.
I know. It's almost
He
like.
just got tired of drinking piss, I guess.
Well, when I say these are fat slobs, like, I'm not lying. Like, these people are fat. And
Slavish.
And they're slobbish. And of course, it's the same thing. We, you know, don't want Republicans as my fans because they're XYZ. And this is where I kind of don't, where it's certain people are like, well, we got to be above them. We got to take the higher road and stuff. And part of me goes, we can take the higher road, yes. But again, shame them, be a little trolly about it, and sometimes just call the kettle black.
Call a spade a spade.
Yeah, call a spade, call the kettle black. That's what it is. Because the thing is little something like that, to where if we said it to one another joking around, we giggle and then we just move on.
Yeah.
To these people, it is like crushing their soul.
Oh yeah. It's
on
like,
how
now
this.
my gloves come off and we're gonna fight
Yeah.
in the street with knives. My goodness.
Don says, "That's right. I'm changing the topic of the show."
Oh no!
Hup, how many times have you played this?
Oh, too many times to be making these mistakes.
Yeah, that's why I'm immediately like, what's going on here?
Dang, it brought me back far. Okay.
This is the last thing, though, right?
It is the
Isn't
last
like
thing?
this is? Oh, well, of course they're gonna bring us back to like the annoying part.
So you brought up gaming, and we were talking last week about those 40 Twitch streamers who got slammed
Oh, yeah,
and
with
brought
the-
up in lawsuits because of not just doing money laundering.
But you want to know what's you want to know what's funny is one of those people who got slapped and was complaining about the DMC immediately switched tones to talk about this G4 stuff because it takes away from the distraction of her pretty much illegally streaming.
Dude, that's hilarious.
It's hilarious. But anyway,
So
go ahead and continue.
We're probably talking about the same girl then.
Amani.
Pokimane?
Yeah.
Yep, Pokimane.
Yeah, boy, you got it right.
So.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, Oh no.
Can we flip it?
Maybe. Hey, look at that.
Oh my gosh.
God is good. Yeah. So.
God is good to save this warthog.
Pokimane, yes, one of the trollops who was essentially scamming the system and just airing shows that she didn't have a license to, like shows of Top Chef and Avatar, Last Airbender, stuff like that, and just letting that go with either zero commentary whatsoever or very little commentary, and is then getting upset that people start railing on her for it. So here's what I think is really interesting is because she has no defense for her shameful conduct in being someone who was scamming
I mean,
the
I
system.
never watched her stuff, but like, you got to make it transform it. Oh.
Well,
Wonder if I have to shoot those things.
I was.
I'll try to shoot them.
In defense of her shameful conduct for airing content that wasn't her own and making money off of it, she instead tries to shift the target to talking about the treatment of women in the gaming community.
That's what I'm
and
talking.
the
Yeah,
inherent
that's
sexism.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, she's
like,
like,
this is
women just get dumped on into the gaming community, and it's not okay. I'm going, sweetheart, we're not retarded, okay, honey? And if you think that you're gonna try and deflect, and all these people are gonna go, oh shoot, you know what? You're right. You know, just go ahead and keep on scamming the system. Then you're even more retarded than the people who didn't bother to do any information digging during the entirety of the lock-in. And if you do see this channel, I do mean what I'm saying here. And if it comes off sounding harsh, it's because it's meant to. Trying to cover your own bad actions by claiming that it's due to sexism. What else are you gonna say now?
Oh.
That sexism made you go ahead?
I'm coming in hot, pup.
Are you gonna say now that sexism is what made you start to steal these shows to run on on your
good luck
on your Twitch platform? Like, is that what you're gonna say? Like, oh yeah, it's because of this divide between men and women that I had to stream these shows with no commentary because I can't make it on my own as a female in the gaming community. No, sweetheart, I don't buy
Keep in mind
what you're selling.
Oh yeah,
and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Well, and it's also this fact too is they're complaining about sexism, but they use their sex appeal to build the. This is the thing.
Show me more your cleavage, and then tell me that I'm the.
This is the thing I don't. Yeah, this is the thing I do not understand. Is you willingly and fully know well that you are using your looks and as
like you said, sex sells.
Yeah, as advertisement, and then you complain when people say disgusting comments and stuff, or like simp over you or something like that. It's like, look, first of all, you know exactly who your audience is targeting. So to act surprised every fucking time.
Yeah, you knew exactly what you were doing when you put on that low-cut shirt and you're like, hi guys. Why'd you do your makeup that day? Why even bother putting on a face? Who's that for? All the gamer girls? Is this to show yourself or show them just how awesome a gamer chick can be? Or is it for all the guys that you're hoping are going to start dropping donations into your account because they just want to see you and they don't give a damn about what game you're playing? Like, don't pretend that you're some little innocent lemming.
It's just to me, it's just so hilarious because it's like, well, I get tired of them staring at me and stuff like that. It's like then
just do audio only then.
Then do audio only. Like, don't do camera, or don't go out and get implants or whatever, or don't wear clothing that reveals more of your physique and all that stuff. Like I hate this. Like, it makes no sense to me.
No.
Like,
it's like when girls wear stupid shirts that have written across the tits, my eyes are up here with an arrow pointing up. It's like, okay, now you can't complain when somebody stares at your tits because you are broadcasting in kind of a coy and backhanded fashion that you don't want them staring at your tits. It's like when you wear a pair of shorts that say cheer across the ass. Okay, where do you think eyes are going to go? Why in God's name would you do that and then get mad at somebody else for staring at your chest or staring at your butt?
Yeah. Anal pig.
It's like, don't be retarded, and you can expect people to hopefully not act retarded around you.
Yeah, again, it's they never cared about the industry to begin with.
No, they didn't.
I know I can draw followers, I can make a quick buck or something like that.
Absolutely.
The gaming is second nature, but I'm going to be vocal and mad about how the gaming. Like, I do care about the game.
As if she cares.
I do care about this, and I hate that it's the same. Sadly, it's the same thing as otakus, man. Like, like a lot of people who like a lot of at least Japanese people, it's still out there. There's people who like animes are otakus, are people who have problems socializing.
Please don't take us all the way back. Please don't take us all the way back.
What exactly where are you trying to drive to?
Well, I was trying to get around. Oh my gosh, I was trying to get around that little flipped up flap there. Dude, this is a brutal section. I don't even know how I did this in Legendary, but I did. I know I did.
You probably played it enough to remember to know what to do. Yeah. It's been a while.
And it's been a hot minute. So funny because like the nature of our talk right now, it's so different to how I am like on my YouTube channel when I'm talking about like something having to do with the Bible here. And
that's because we're doing more off the cuff.
Yeah, and the thing about it is like I love that we can be multifaceted and actually talk about the things that do inside us to an otherwise darker state of mind. Because when you see people that are trying to get away with, again, I won't call them misinformation or disinformation, but in fact lies, that is enraging. And even though the Apostle Paul says, hey, look, who am I to judge the world because then I have to go outside the church and I have to be in the world to do that? I think if you're
Yeah.
if you're a part of a society where the people with whom you may have a gripe and you are all engaging in the same exact society, and you have at least similar ends, which is hopefully the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, then I do believe that there is a certain understanding that you have to come to terms with, and that is that not only are you allowed to have a comment on what's going on and what you see that is incorrect and unjust, but it's incumbent on you to do so when you have the power and the voice to do so. And that's what I really feel is one of the big things about the show that we offer and the content that we provide is that angle that pushes back against the crazy that so many people like this chick are handcuffing themselves to. And then being able to shed that light will in turn hopefully compel other people to do the same like we are.
Well, it's also disgusting too because, again, these people know that a lot of people in the gaming industry, like, for lack of better terms, can be either overweight, single, have self-esteem issues, insert
Weird
XY,
fetishes.
insert XYZ. So they know this, then they capitalize on it, and then they yell at them for doing exactly what they're purposely luring them into. It's disgusting, and they need to be called out and shamed for it.
Yep.
Because it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's like what you have right now is by design, by your own design. So don't pretend to be surprised that things are going the way they are. Maybe it's just that what you did try to set into motion is working a little too well. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe you could have dialed it back. Maybe instead of showing off 3 inches of cleavage and talking about how you got your boobs done, maybe you could have, I don't know, worn a turtleneck and played some Minecraft.
Hang on.
No, be ashamed of yourself, Pokemon. And anybody else who is just trying to rip off content and stream that, be ashamed of yourself. Come on. What are you doing?
At least transform
Yeah,
it.
transform the darn thing.
Like, you gotta have more than just, or irate.
Yeah, or those who were
Although
actually
it's
doing the
weird,
money laundering
but
with the
but it's
refunding
weird
back
though,
on credit
because
cards.
Keemstar won that though. Like, he won a copyright issue where it was something as small as that can be declared transfer. It's still a really weird area and stuff. But for me, it's more of this idea. Again, it's what we talked about. It's this idea they know exactly what they're doing. Oh, and by the way, like, I actually did rewatch G4 whatever video again, and I'm convinced she's clearly reading something off screen. So this was planned. So this was obviously planned.
Yeah.
And it's just, I knew. See, I was right because I knew I was gonna get backlash when I called you out on it.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
It's like, oh my gosh.
Yep. It's
Again, her logic is hilarious. Like, there's so many like retweets people are doing that's just calling out. Man, I need to find one. There was one that I was laughing at. It was like, oh.
War is over. But let us never forget.
Well, in any case, I can't find it, but I should have saved it because it was a good one. It was a goodie.
it doesn't
decision
surprise me
required courage beyond
people have
measure.
because people are so tired
Sacrifice,
right now
unshakable
of
conviction that
being
their fight
told, oh, if you think this
Our
way, then
fight
you're racist, you're
was
sexist, you're
helpless.
misogynist, you're homophobe, you're xenophobe. People are so tired of being told that, and it's not in vogue to continue to do this. So G4
We
girl,
start to
whatever your
rebuild,
name is, I'm not going to
this
look it up because I
hillside
don't
will
care
remain barren.
about your personality or what
A memorial
espousing,
to
but if
heroes
that's what you
of all
think is
ages.
going to somehow make you
They
and the
ennoble
channel
all of
that
us.
you're working for that much more
They shall
popular,
not be forgotten.
you're wrong, okay? Why don't you try taking the high road and start doing some encouraging to people? And let's have a conversation about the video game based on its playability, its controls, and the storyline behind it, instead of having to try and jam wokeism into every nook and cranny that we can
It's
find.
fine.
Because it's insulting to your viewer base and it's insulting to the player community as a whole.
I remember
Cut it
when
out.
the war started.
Yeah,
What
it's
your kind did to mine.
again, it's like, well,
I can't forgive that.
it's when it's like, well, we need more like fat, overweight superheroes or something like that, and it's like,
You got Lizzo, that's all you need.
well, it doesn't make sense to me in the sense of like, well, what is one of her superpowers or something, able to not be out of breath with a couple steps, you know, or something like that. Like, it's so weird because it's like, you know, these people can be superheroes too. It's like, yeah, they can. And guess what? No one's gonna care about them because it doesn't, you know, it's not what people go there to do. It's this idea of where they're trying to make everything as neutral as possible. Like, no, that's not how, unfortunately, that's not how life is.
Must take
Like,
a side.
you're like, yeah, life is full of gray, but you have to take a side. You have to take a side.
Absolutely. Because if you try and be everybody's friend, you will find in the end that you cannot be anyone's friend. Because if you try and please them all, you will fail in any.
Just please yourself. You know what I'm saying? Just find that
Well,
box of tissue.
Yeah, do what you love because you love it, and don't try and make it somebody else's problem. You know, if your whole thing is you like doing macrame sitting in your room naked while you watch old episodes of Simpsons, then go ahead and do that. But don't try and tell me that you're trying to be some kind of altruistic
I knew it.
majesty.
I knew it.
We got
Don Wanderer says, I don't know much about that Frosk person. That's the person I was talking about. But apparently she was pushed out of her esports team for touting the same SJW shtick. What did I... You want to know what she also reminds me of that one...
Can you hear me?
Of that one of...
I thought I'd lost
that
it.
one soccer player. That female soccer player.
yes.
That's exactly who she reminds me of, and it's hilarious.
Yeah. It's like go ahead and be ugly inside and out, and tell me how that works out for you career-wise. Because the only people who want to hire that are also just as deranged inside and out as you.
You're just
are.
mad because I'm not bangable. No, I'm. You're just not likable.
Yeah.
And to quote Norm Mac-
shook itself to pieces.
Well,
Number on the arc.
I you know what? Fuck it. I am gonna say to quote Norm Macdonald, your face looks like a cunt.
Oh no.
So yeah, I did go there.
We went there. Oh man. But that whole thing that rankles me to know it. Because where does somebody get off trying to tell me what I have to dislike?
Yeah, that's the whole point. Like,
It disallows your viewers and the people to have their own thoughts. It's like you and I could be looking at the same size.
it's okay. It's okay to be masculine, like muscular. It's perfectly fine doing that and finding that attractive. If that for females or your guy, whatever, who cares? It's also the same thing with women.
The flood.
It's okay to be fit. It's okay to have, you know, if you like big boobs, you like big boobs. If you like big butts, you like big butts and stuff. But to say, well, you can't do that. You have to like this person a certain way. It's like, no.
I'll drop a beacon,
Like,
but it'll be a while
and this is where you kind of talked about on Nick's stream too, and I think even Crumb's stream, is we almost do kind of have to gatekeep. Or we do have to make an example of like when someone like this spouts their mouth off, go, nah, like, hey, like, oh, you could turn right the hell around and walk out that door because we don't want that garbage in here.
And yeah, the
Some of the strongest
aspect
women,
is-
funny enough, some of the strongest women in video games, like, are like Tifa. Like, she's attractive, yes, but like her story is like incredible. I only know the remake. I actually do want to play the original, but I like the remake story about her. Like, that is a well-written character, and it is perfectly fine that she is not the main character. That's the thing, is that these people want to retcon, and she needs to be the main character. Well, instead of retconning an already established story, make another story with that person of who you. For whatever reason you feel needs to be in the environment, make that instead.
Oh yeah, dude, we're jumping to ODST. We still got half an hour.
We do, yeah.
Yeah, it's, dude.
That was my thing. Was the
Oh, we don't have it
G4?
installed. Okay, we'll install that.
Wait, what?
Not installed.
Why isn't that?
I forgot ODST is the add-on. So is Halo Reach. I believe it's also.
You telling me I gotta buy?
Let's see. Wait, maybe we don't have to. Yeah. So they were the special add-ons. I believe 4 is accessible though. Let's see. Hey, here we go. Some.
Well, I'll look into the DLC. See if we can.
I don't think they cost that much. I can give you some. Using your.
Oh, you don't. Actually, hold down the chat. I'm gonna take this time.
Will
I'm drinking my water.
Hey,
Trying to stay hydrated, you know?
keep those kidneys plump and
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
yeah.
I like boobs. So I'm saying that right now. So get that out of the way. You know, people can suck it if they have a problem with it.
Well, anyway, I guess I'll go ahead and chill for both of us here. If you guys haven't already, please smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. We are going to be branching out our streaming to various other platforms here in the new year. It has been a rip-roaring and furious last couple of weeks from even before the new year began up to now. Things are finally leveling. So we'll have more time to put into our other sources of entertainment that links and have already branded. If you guys would, if you enjoy the content here, please share this video on whatever platform you feel so inclined to do so. It helps us out, helps us get some more traction going, helps us get more, I guess, noticed within the feed. And we're continuing on here with the Halo Master Chief Collection as the namesake of our channel, but this playlist, this show that we provide is Hot Button Co-op. The name of the game is Cooperative Games. And to put a finer point on it, it's cooperative games that you can play sitting in the same room, on the same television. Couch co-op games. I'm sure when we get to Halo 5, I'll just have to bring a monitor over here so we can at least be in the same room. We'll probably just be showing one screen though. But that is what we offer. It is a fun, at least we hope it's a fun conversation to recap the week. Greg and I catching up at the end of a week and being able to do so while enjoying a favorite pastime of this game. This is actually my favorite iteration of Cortez. The look that they gave her. I think, yeah, this is my, all the constant running data feed look the best here.
Not your forte.
No, I like.
Oh, I thought you said you didn't. I thought you just said you didn't like the data running.
No,
or you
this
do.
is my favorite. Okay. I like how they're doing it. Not that they haven't done it before, but it's better here. Oh wow, even the irises. That's really cool too. So
Cool,
yeah,
guys.
That was yeah, that's so dumb. Have to go
Wake up, Chief.
2 people, and to do that on your essentially your first
Well,
showing of yourself.
again, I never watched G4, but like
I
again,
tried.
I think the previous host did a lot of stuff that probably played to the sexual nature or probably were suggestive. Damn. Or whatever.
Where are we?
But then again, then you have this person come on and try to retcon everything by yelling at someone. Again, it's this weird retconning thing.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't really inspire me to take you seriously.
Nope.
So, how familiar are you with the whole NFT thing right now? Non-fungible.
I mean, I've heard of it. I know what you can.
Oh, don't unlock the thingy. You gotta unlock the door for us. Right. Get out of here.
I just know you can, like,
Seems like
you
old
can
times.
buy,
Ready to
you know,
get back
a,
to work?
what is it, a copy of it?
Thought you'd never ask.
You like buy a copy of it, and then your copy can
Got intrusion
increase or
alert
something
right
like
up
that.
on
And
No, so
grow over time. I don't know.
Our best bet to
So,
figure out
the
who's
idea-
guarding us is the
oh,
observation
goodness.
deck.
I
I-
gotta change my controls real quick. 1 second. So,
I'm sure when you explain it to me, I'll know it. I'm just really bad.
you're good. Pat. Fish stick. Aim down sight. That's what I need.
What is it, inverted?
No, it's set that it stays zoomed in. Popping off. It's fine. Oh, okay, there we go. It does come back. Oh, I see. If you just tap it, it stays in, but you can hold it. Cool. Oh, anyway, so non-fungible tokens. It's this thing where you're able to you create a piece of art, something. It's digital. It character. Not that people couldn't just right click and copy it, but because
Well, that's what I've heard is what's happening.
Yeah.
That people are taking stuff from up and then
yeah,
kind of
yep.
selling it, and then thus it's copyrighted theirs or something.
Yeah. So the thing that has the big appeal for a lot of people is that these non-fungible tokens, because they're being paid for by cryptocurrencies, then you have within the blockchain, the way the cryptocurrency blockchain works is you see there's essentially like a running board of where every single coin is. You see exactly where it is, you know exactly who has it, so they're all accounted for. And you can see what those coins were traded for, whether it be goods or services. So if somebody says, oh, they buy an NFT, like, okay, you bought the NFT, and you're on the list now for owning the NFT. This shows here that you have spent whatever crypto that you had on this here NFT, and we have an actual log of it. So if anybody else says, oh yeah, I have the original, no, we can look to the log and see who has the original, and we can find out that, yeah, you lied. Oh, right. Stick.
Come on, boy. Oh my gosh. See, Don, real quick, Don Wanderer says G4 Tech TV was a lot like Spike TV. They aired reruns of The Man Show, MXC, and Cops. That just sounds... Wait, what? That's what... Yeah, whatever.
But,
it clearly had a target demographic. This is probably about NFT. It clearly had a target Democrats, and it was a... Oh, wait, no, still G4. And it was a premium channel on cable, so viewers had 200 plus channels they could watch instead.
So with the NFT game, it's like, yes, you have this thing that we have on record there. You're officially the one who has the only one that is there. And if somebody, even if they do say copy and just save the picture of your NFT, we have it on the actual blockchain that you're the one who paid for it and bought it, so you own it. So the appeal is, hey, you can be the person who has that NFT. That's pretty cool. Well, with that NFT game, which is interesting because I'm sure the bubble will burst on it eventually. It hasn't quite yet, but I'm sure it will. With the whole NFT game that is going on right now, you have this group of people that are pretty much trying to make NFTs of everything. And first, at least from what I've seen, it was digital art, essentially. It's like, hey, here's a picture, here's a collage, or here's a digital 16-bit rendering of whatever that I came up with. Well, so people were doing that. Now there is a big stink being raised because the possibility that vocal NFTs might become a thing. And it's nice to not be the most hated person in voiceover anymore. Actually, Troy Baker has received a lot of heat recently in the last few days.
Really?
Yeah, for talking, I guess, I don't know if he's partnered with, but been talking about this group called Voiceverse NFT. I think it must be like a partner in this, but it's the idea of being able to, since we have the Facebook metaverse now, people, they have areas within their metaverse accounts where you can have kind of like a gallery of sorts and have all your NFTs set up. And if you're using a VR headset, you can go and view your gallery, or somebody else can go and view your gallery, your art that you have up inside the room. So there's this possibility that people might do the same thing, but with either a voice of a character or a specific set of dialogue cues from a game, and be able to claim that as an NFT that they then might sell. So then, say you're in the metaverse, oh, anytime that you go to speak, maybe your voice is mapped over with Troy Baker, or maybe you have all the lines from his character Joel in Last of Us. And it's really interesting that this is being tried, because I think on the one hand, if you're just doing your own voice, like, hey, I'm making NFTs of myself, and I am just saying a bunch of, say I have a script of just random lines that I'm saying, random lines that you could insert into any video game. kind of like how people will record or to be the audio, the actual voice of somebody's talk box, like that Stephen Hawking's had. You can actually donate your voice to that, and you have to read a bunch of different words, a bunch of numbers, a bunch of different just vowel sounds, consonant sounds, and then they're able to use that to map for this thing. So when somebody talks, they have a unique voice. So it'd be one thing if you were sitting in a room and you had just a script of all these different lines to give, and you're like, hey, cool. So I made essentially what would amount to a voice that you could map onto a character, that anytime you said something in whatever game this character exists in, you'll hear my voice coming out instead of your own voice. Like, that'd be cool. And if that's what you want to do and you want to sell your voice in that capacity, then you're selling to one person that particular voice that you're doing. Maybe you have, your low, your high, and then your regular. Maybe you can do 3 different ones. You sell 3 different variations. Cool. But the real gray area appears when you have people that would possibly try and sell their voice or sell the voice and or dialogue directly from a game or directly from a show or directly from a movie to then be used inside the metaverse. Because then you're taking property that, say the appeal was, oh, you can have Joel, not just his voice, but all his lines from Last of Us, and you can now use that at your whim and will inside the metaverse or whatever game is attached to that. Then it's like, okay, now you're trying to sell property that doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the makers
We're
of
just about there.
the game Last of Us. And when you sign a contract with a company like Funimation, and I want to say that it's the same for Okatron as well, but when you sign a contract, you sign away that, hey, whatever you lend your voice to, like, your voice is still your voice, obviously, but whatever is recorded here during the recording process of a show or a movie or a game, that is the property of the studio.
Makes
And
sense.
They
I mean,
own
that's
it.
just standard.
Yeah. So the real potentially bad thing is that if you're not just recording, oh sorry, grenade, I stuck you, my bad. If you're not recording,
Whoops.
I'm so used to the reload controls from 3.
Hit my mic.
But if you're not just recording your voice in a slew of random lines that you're then gonna sell to people for their characters, but you are in fact selling the actual audio from a game, then you have stolen and you're now making money off stolen property. And so I think that's where a lot of people were coming from when they were giving Troy Baker some heat for this. Because I don't know if that was his idea. Like, yeah, I'm going to sell my performance from this here game. Or if he was planning to, hey, I'll record a bunch of different lines and then one person can have, this voice that I do. Next person can have this voice that I do. Next person can have this voice that I do. And I won't sell it to anybody else because whoever I've sold it to, they have the one. And
Jet Li?
yeah, Jet Li. So that's kind of the issue right now that's going on. And I can understand people's outrage about potentially having the work that a company create or recorded for their game being stolen and then sold to somebody else.
Well, yeah, first off, I completely understand the whole worry about it and all that stuff. But, like, I hate to say it, but people have already figured out how to rip the lines.
Oh, yeah.
Like, from games and stuff
It still
like
doesn't
that.
make it right, but yes, you're correct.
Like Source Filmmaker, there's people who do, like, fan project stuff.
Yes.
With already ripped models, and they can know how to do the voices. So for me, like, the audio side of stuff, it's like, at this point, it's like, if it's on the internet, someone will figure out how to get it.
Yeah.
Someone will know how to utilize it, and
You're absolutely right there.
it's almost to the point where it's like, if you don't want your stuff taken, either don't post it on the internet or don't sign NDAs saying whatever.
I think,
But I honestly don't see how people can will think that, oh, I bought it in cryptocurrency, therefore it's mine. It's like, no.
You bought property that wasn't yours to be sold.
Yeah,
so-
yeah. It's like, nah. The studio will come and take your ass down, or
Yeah.
take you to court if they're serious about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And
We'll give you it's like, yeah, we're gonna give you one only chance here. You're gonna get rid of that, or we're taking you to court.
Yep. And I think that's wherein the biggest issue is, because I don't think that enough people, because right now there's a bubble with NFTs, and the bubble hasn't quite burst yet from what I've seen. I've heard people say, hey, don't waste your money buying NFTs. They're not really a lasting investment, because essentially you would be investing in them if you bought them, because you'd be trying to flip them for a higher price than what you paid for. Now, in order to create an NFT, anybody can create one, but you have to purchase, I think it's at least minimum of $100 within whatever the like the crypto world that you're trying to upload this NFT into.
Yeah, where do you like get this? Like, where do you get? Like, how do you even start with NFTs? Because I won't lie, it does sound interesting. Yeah. Obviously, if it's for original purposes and for, you legitimately want to try to invest or create something that you don't care about, or that you're fine with people buying.
Yeah, like your pixel art, you could easily make NFTs doing that. So one of the, I guess the simplest NFT, and this is what I want to say was I don't know if it was the first one sold or what have you, but the very first tweet that I believe was done by Hipster Rasputin, the guy who made Twitter. Name escapes me, but anyway, I want to say it was his first tweet sold.
Wait, Twitter? Jack?
Yeah, Jack. What's his name?
Cares.
Jack Dorsey. Yeah,
Yeah,
Jack Dorsey. From my understanding, his very first tweet was sold for $6 million.
Like actual money or crypto?
Crypto. $6 million worth of cryptocurrency. So, but people are making like $2,000 in NFT because people are just so hard up for them right now, because they're like, oh yeah, I can have this one piece of art, and because it's attached to the blockchain, it means that I have it. Nobody else has it. Even if they have a copy of it, they don't have the original, because this right here says that I'm the one who bought it. So like, there's the allure. Ooh, I can own something that is just specially mine. And the people who are making these, some people are making really cool, involved ones. Others are making just little crappy, hey, I took a screenshot of all these different things from this movie, and now I've cobbled them together, and I've made the shape of a fist punching through an apple pie. There's my NFT.
Sounds pretty cool.
So that's the bubble that hasn't burst, and I'm wondering when it will. So I've thought about making some myself, but I guess having to spend the initial $100 to get on.
I'm just confused on when you're like, how do you know you're guaranteed to get this money?
You don't know that you're guaranteed.
See, that's what I don't.
So you make like your profile. You have to buy in with it. I think, like I said, minimum $100. You create your NFT, and then you can say, hey, I'm offering this for X amount. And then if somebody sees it, they go, oh yeah, that's really cool. Here's, the 2 Bitcoin that you've requested.
But
for this
my
NFT.
thing is when can you cash in? When can you get that real money?
So that I don't really know. I know that people that was a question that a lot of people have with regards to cryptocurrency. It's like, okay, cool. Say you bought in at Doge when it was 0.08, and then it jumps up to 32 cents a Dogecoin. It's like, how do you cash that out? I don't know. That I'm really unfamiliar with. I don't know if you're able to then sell them like a stock or what. That's beyond my scope of understanding.
It just seems weird. It almost sounds like a pyramid scheme. Because don't pyramid schemes, you have to buy something first to get on the chain, then you have to get other people to buy your stuff, but then you take care of it.
Well, this is the way I understand it for doing NFTs. If you have a crypto wallet, which there's a number of them out there, but essentially what you're doing is it's almost like if you're going to a foreign country and you were exchanging your money for their currency. That'd be essentially what you would be doing with the crypto that you're buying. I have $50. I'm converting that $50 into $50.
I was put into service 8 years ago.
And so it
8 years.
It's like I said, it's a world that I'm not a part of yet.
I find, yeah. I mean, it sounds interesting. If there's something there, it's something there. But like, I want to know just when you can cash out.
Yeah,
I know.
I mean, 'cause I think that's what a lot of people they're banking on getting into crypto. It's like, oh, the next one comes out. Say it was like the beginning of Ethereum, and they're going, oh, okay, cool. Bitcoin had a huge explosion. I want to buy an Ethereum when it's at $4 a coin, and then when it hits, say, $15,000 a coin, then I'll sell all my coins to somebody else for money, or I'll exchange them at that rate, or I will just use those coins to buy things that I want from places that accept that currency. Because I know there's a lot of places now that will accept Bitcoin or accept cryptocurrency or whatever they're offering, because the crypto, it has essentially the value that the user provides it. So whatever people are valuing it at, that's what it has the value of. And what people like and what is so alluring about cryptocurrency is that it can't be counterfeited. There's only so many of them, and they have to be mined. And so the way the blockchain works is that you have this, whatever the cryptocurrency provider is, we'll just say Bitcoin because that's the most popular. Their system releases this incredibly complex and difficult mathematical equation. And so if you hear people say, oh, I'm mining for crypto, what it means is that they have a computer that is set up so that that computer is using pretty much its full processing power, if not its full processing power, to figure out this mathematical equation. Whoever figures out the equation first, they're awarded the coin or the coins that come along with that equation. And so you have warehouses, I kid you not, with hundreds, if not thousands, of computers that are just mining for cryptocurrency. You can look up videos online.
But where do these? I don't get it though. Honestly, where does this come from?
So
how do you know to mine for something, and how do you know there's not going to be like 5 other people doing?
Oh no,
this?
there's probably millions of people mining for it. Like even Tom mines for crypto. But here's the thing. So the idea of it originally, like you could purchase the coins, or else you can mine for them. So say like you wanted to go and buy some Bitcoin right now, you can buy Bitcoins directly from the Bitcoin provider, or else you can mine for it. So I think Bitcoin right now is around, I think $50,000 something a coin. So people, who don't want to have to spend $50,000 on a coin, if they have the means to set up 400 processors to mine it, then they'll just do that, and they'll try and mine the coins.
I'm just confused as to what are you mining?
You're literally mining a non-existent in the real world, but a digitally existent coin. So then the value that's assigned to that coin is based on them.
Well, where do you look for these digital coins?
Just on their platforms, like whichever Bitcoin or whatever cryptocurrency platform that you're wanting to mine for, they have a place that you can, I guess, do that. I don't really know where you have to go to mine it, but
so they purposely make something to where you can mine for.
Yes. So, and the thing is though, is the mining process, I think I heard a stat Tom was talking about, where I think the next crypto won't be, or the next coin won't actually be mined. It's projected until like 2026. So it's not like you just have, from my understanding, it's not like you just have people that are just digging these up every single day. Well, I do know that for a while there was at least one warehouse full of computers where they were making like $75,000 a day in crypto because of how much mining that they were doing. And so people there, they have their computers running trying to crack these equations because they're hoping they're gonna unearth that next crypto coin by solving that really complex equation. And so the value then comes in knowing that there are only so many of these things out there. You can't counterfeit them because we have a running list of exactly how many coins are in existence and exactly who has them and exactly what they were traded for. So like there is where people get really excited because they're like, yeah, you can't counterfeit this in currency, and it's pretty much immune to inflation because it can't be counterfeited. So the idea behind it not losing its value, like the American dollar, that's what makes it so
They sad.
alluring. Because, like I said, you can't you can't devalue it like you can the American dollar or any other currency matter that is a physical currency. So that's why there's been such a...
The NFT I can see kind of jumping in because it sounds kind of new, but I don't get why you would want to get into crypto like Bitcoin or something now if it's that much.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. That's why so many people are getting into these newer ones that are coming out that are being sold for like 4 cents a coin, because they're hoping that that new crypto is going to end up becoming worth as much as Bitcoin or as Ethereum is. That's why so many people are getting into
That why Musk wants Doge?
No,
Tries to.
I think Musk was just personally. I think he was doing a lot of trolling, but I think he saw with Dogecoin somebody that was stepping into the crypto game, and he thought, you know, I'm gonna throw my support behind him, because every single time he tweeted about it, their currency, the value of it went up because everybody started buying it. So people were trying to get it up to, I think last year they were trying to get it up to, or it was either last year or the year before, they were trying to get it up to buy 420 up to $1. And I think when it was originally selling, it was for, I want to say it was like less than a cent it was selling for. I might be incorrect in that, but it was selling for very, very little. People are like, yeah, if we can get the value of this up to $1, and say I bought it at, say I bought it at 1/10 of a cent, and I bought 10,000 of them at 1/10 of a cent. Okay, cool. I got 10,000 of these coins, 1/10 of a cent I spent for each one of these, but then the value, say it goes up from 1/10 of a cent to $100 per coin. Now you've got 10 times $100 per coin. You just made an insane gain on your investment. And so then it's like, okay, now I'm going to sell these things. So I've heard stories about people saying, oh yeah, this guy, he had bought in at Bitcoin when it was 4 cents a coin. He bought 1,000 of them, and then he just hung on to them. They're just on a flash drive somewhere, and then now he's got 4,000 times $56,000. It's like he's got more money than God at this point. He can do whatever he wants.
Except he can't because it's digital.
Well, he
someone...
can if the places where he wants to spend those coins accept the cryptocurrency.
Oh.
So that's where it is. That's why you see a push now where you'll notice a number of places that advertise, typically online. There even are some sports stadiums or some sports groups that will accept payment in cryptocurrency for, say, season tickets or like box seats or what have you. So as long as people are willing to trade for it, then it'll maintain its value, because people are like, yeah, you can trade in this thing, so why wouldn't I? Oh darn, I was out of ammo. Like, I can trade in this here, so why wouldn't I want to get into it? Because it becomes it's a legal currency, and it's a currency that right now is unable to be run by the government. Yes, that's why so many people, especially like those who are either anarcho-capitalists or those who are libertarians, they get really excited about the prospect of cryptocurrency, because the government can't come in and tax it. The government can't come in and demand anything from it, because it's literally a peer-to-peer trading currency. And so there's been talks now where they want to try, and governments want to try and get their hand into it, which, if the community has anything to say about it, they will not let that happen. They're like, no, this is ours. This is essentially, we've gone back to the days of, hey, I go up to your shop and I trade you 4 chickens for this plowshare that I need. That's what the crypto has come out to be. It's not like the government can step in and go, oh, you traded these 4 chickens for a plowshare? Well, we get one of your chickens. I don't know. I've traded something of, at least to that person who owned the plowshare, something of equal value. So now you've got the crypto game being like, hey, I will give you, because I've got 6 coins at $50,000 a piece. Well, I've got what would amount to, I guess, then $300,000 inside my crypto wallet. I can say I want to spend, I don't know, $1,200 on season tickets to whatever team I want to go watch that year, I can, and they accept that currency, I can just simply give them the $12,000 for my crypto wallet without even having to touch my actual bank. And they can hang on to it, or else they can try and convert it themselves, or they might trade it off to somebody else for actual money.
Dang.
So the NFT game right now is seemingly a bubble that hasn't popped. Yeah, there's like 14-year-old kids making $50,000 a day doing. I've thought about getting into it, but it just something doesn't feel right about it. It feels to me like essentially everybody's waiting for that bubble to pop, and those who are spending all this money to have this one-of-a-kind thing, it's like it seems to me almost like they haven't realized that, hey, this is kind of dumb that we're spending so much money on these things that don't actually have any inherent value because they're digital. I can't just pick it up and hold it. Oh, I can go and look at it inside the metaverse, or I can look at it inside my little catalog of NFTs that I've either made or bought, but I don't actually have this thing that I can physically enjoy.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird.
I mean, the NFT, like, seems pretty cool. And if people want to buy it, like, who cares?
Yeah.
You know, sort of thing.
That's what I say. Like, you with your pixel artwork, there's a lot of NFTs.
I'm supposed to hop on that.
You should be coming to me. Yeah. There's a lot of pixel art NFTs, and you could probably make a killing on there with the art that you do, because the art that you'd be making, even though say you might do like, hey, I'm gonna do a picture of, say you want to do Ronald McDonald and he's got a sock full of quarters and he's wailing on the Grinch. Maybe you're like, I want to do that.
Nice.
And so yeah, you're making a picture of a character that would be copywritten by McDonald's, but since you're creating it yourself, it's kind of like drawing your favorite character from Dragon Ball Z. You know, that property intellectually is then yours, and you can sell it for whatever you want. Oh look, we are right at 9:01.
Nice. Well, I think we had some very good discussions today.
We even got hot here for a little bit.
Yeah, even I had some notes to put in. I usually just like free forming it, but alrighty. Well, we had a little bit of a debacle, but hey, wouldn't be the first time. Sure, won't be the last until we get new gear.
Absolutely.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, I was saying we're going to be, inside this new year, going to be looking to branching out more. We do have our other platforms already branded. We just need to actually start getting our content posted there as well, to like Rumble, BitChute, and all those other ones.
For sure.
As always, you can find our links in the description below. You can check us out on Twitter. I also have my own YouTube channel. You'll find a link for that below as well. If you haven't already, if you're watching this on the replay and you've made it this far, thank you. You're a trooper. We appreciate you. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share this on whatever platform that you feel so inclined to do so. And I said we'll have a show next Friday, because what I thought was going to be a miss this week, I ended up having my stream last night, so I did tonight.
There you go.
But we should be full steam ahead next Friday, and pretty much every Friday from here on out for the foreseeable future, unless something happens, which we'll keep you abreast of.
Echo. That's all I'm gonna say. Echo. Yeah. All information should be listed below in the description. Thanks again, you guys. And yeah, this has been Hot Button Co-op. So you guys have a good rest of your Friday, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Take care.
Adios.